2 flies in the 9th inning. They got a hold of.
Well, you watch the ball and then you watch the outfielder, and the way Dom, went back to the wall with his back to the wall, you could tell he kind of had a beat on it, and it was just, he hit it really hard, but he hit it very high, and so that was just one of those ones that, we were fortunate that he hit it good, but just lucky for us, it was not quite over the fence. So that would have obviously been a huge game tying swing right there. But I'm glad Dom got it for sure.
Erik, can Lucas come back on Sunday? Would he be able?
He probably can. Yeah, I would need to look at his pitch count and see what the final tally was. Anyone have? How many pitches did Lucas throw? Do you know?
I didn't see it. I think about around 40, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was around 40.
40, yeah. Then he might be able to come back Sunday. Yeah. Usually, it's like the rule of thumb is
31.
1 hour for every
41.
pitch. So 1 hour for every pitch. So if he 31 pitches would take him out maybe tomorrow, especially with the night game to the day game, but certainly could come back Sunday, and he bounces back well. It's kind of one of his superpowers. Is not only can he be extended in a game, but he can be extended and he can bounce back.
How big is it for you knowing you can bring him out to start the 7th and he'll be able to go 3 innings to close it out for you? Save that bullpen.
It's huge. I mean, absolutely huge. And if Petrie wasn't leading off, I don't know if we would have done that in the 7th, because McGovern was pitching good too. But Petrie's their best guy, and we just felt like in a 1-run game, and you got a guy at the plate that can, tie the game with one swing. We wanted to go with Lucas, and knew that he could give us 7, 8, 9. He's done it before.
Do y'all go back and look at Aiden for now 3 weeks in a row? That 3rd inning is seeming to bite him a little bit. It's the only one that seems to give him trouble. Do you kind of go back and maybe see what's going on and why he's having these issues in the 3rd? Do you think?
I hadn't made that connection about the 3rd, but that's a good point. And I don't know if it would be anything like something about the 3rd inning, but it's been kind of that second time through the order kind of thing. That probably times up with the 3rd inning. But he just had a little bit of spray tonight. Maybe got squeezed in some calls. I thought he struck Petrie out on the would have been a strike him out, throw him out. I thought that that was a close one. But yeah, it's a tough angle when you're looking at the side. So maybe it was outside, but. Yeah, so he, but we don't need all the calls, and he doesn't need all the calls. But he did have a little more, I'm interested to see his strike percentage, because when he's going good, his strike percentage is usually 64% or higher. But he, there's actually a lot of good there to know how good of a pitcher he is, and he hasn't pitched. We haven't seen. What he's truly capable of yet. So I have a feeling he's going to settle in here as we keep going.
Coach, how pleased are you with the start of the season that Collins had at the DH?
Yeah, Colin can really impact the ball, and he's not just a power hitter; he's a good hitter. And for him to hit a 2-strike breaking ball like that and put us up by 2, that was huge. Left on left breaking ball. So he's just a very good hitter. Just a big physical kid that can, kind of like Becerra, same way, like doesn't have to hit it all, can miss hit balls out of the park, but just a very, has that knack for putting the barrel on the ball as well. So, and he takes his walks. His plate decisions are also really good as well. So it's a great start. That great to have him in the middle of our order. He certainly lengthens our lineup and gives us a real power threat in the middle.
Luke Gaffney, coming into the season, everyone was talking about his bat, but it seems like he's been a wall over there at first base for you guys to start the season.
He's been awesome. I mean, that play that he made when Malstead threw it off the base, and for him to get his foot back on the base, that's way harder than it seems. And for him to even catch the ball, let alone get his foot back. But he's been great over there. He's a good athlete. But yeah, he's been very valuable at first base defensively.
What was it like having Dabo in the dugout tonight? Has he ever been in the dugout during a game?
No, that was great. There's like a few people that have like a standing invitation, and he's one of them, and so it was great to get him in there. And we had to break the streak of me being on the radio and giving up a jack. So I told him when we talked earlier, I said, look, it's been like 5 games in a row. It seems like when I'm on the radio in the 4th inning, we give up a homer. So I'm gonna get off as quick as I can, and you get on. So it's great. It's a 1, 2, 3 innings. So we should do that more often.
There was a moment there in the bottom of the second where you guys had 1st and 3rd and Lissy was on first. Was there ever a thought of trying to run some sort of play and get the ball moving around the infield to try and score Chufo there?
Oh boy, what?
You had
What do you think was
McClatty
that?
up and Cam was on deck. It was
yeah.
bottom of the second.
Yeah, no, we weren't thinking about a 1st and 3rd play in the second. Tough to run those sometimes with the lefty, just because you can't. You got to read his move, and he had a pretty good move. Plus, you got the heart of your order coming up. So, but yeah, we do have a lot of 1st and 3rd plays, and we haven't used them yet. But that's something that is in the arsenal if needed.
Coach, with Aiden's super strong reaction to striking out Nolan and coming over, pounding his chest and everything, when a guy like that, one of your star players, performs like that and is outwardly so emotional, what do you think that does for the rest of the guys?
I like it. I would never tell any of our guys not to, just be themselves. And in that moment, Aiden normally doesn't do that, but I thought in, rivalry series, big game, electric crowd, big strikeout to end the inning, yeah, go for it. Why not? So I thought it was cool. And, there's some competitive banter that's part of being an athlete that should be allowed. And there was no threat there. They weren't going towards each other to, have a physical altercation. It's totally normal, totally fine for competitive males to, just to say things to each other in passing and talk a little trash. It's totally harmless as long as it doesn't cross any lines.
Coach, record turnout tonight, obviously the fans were a factor. What are you now expecting for the next 2 games, both neutral site and going over to Columbia?
I'm sure it'll be electric at both places, and would expect nothing less. And you got the best rivalry in college baseball, and two great fan bases. Ours is better, but it's just that 2 fan bases that are very passionate about their sports, and when you put bragging rights, when the state is divided down the middle like it is, and there's it doesn't matter what teams, what sport you're playing. When it's Clemson versus South Carolina, it's going to be heated and it's going to be electric. And so I would expect floor field to be divided right down the middle. And tonight felt like a 90-10 crowd for Clemson, and I'm sure it'll be 90-10 at Founders Park for the Gamecocks. So a lot of baseball left to be played. That's why we're happy about this one, but not satisfied because there's a lot of weekend left.
Coach, going off of that, obviously the crowd plays into it. South Carolina hasn't won here since 2019. Do you think that's a big factor to have the home field advantage in terms of the crowd that's behind you, getting people riled up and maybe intimidating them a little bit?
I didn't know that stat. I think home games in general are an advantage, obviously, and the home team, typically wins because there's just so many things that go into your own home environment, knowing your field, having your crowd, the comfort of playing on your own turf, and so yeah, it's definitely an advantage to but I like the format that we have, where each school gets a chance to be at home, and then there's a neutral site one in the middle.
Eric, you talked before that you want your guys to think about this rivalry year-round, not just the week that you're playing South Carolina. What does any win, every win in this rivalry mean to this program?
Well, it's huge because it's for so many people, not just us. And we're team 128, and I just learned that we've been playing South Carolina since 1899. So for almost our entirety of our baseball existence, we've had this rivalry with South Carolina. You think about all the players and all the teams and all the years where, the rosters change, the coaches change, but the rivalry remains. And So it's just, it's so good for the state when both teams are really good. It's so good for college baseball when both teams are really good. And there's a lot of times historically where, you know, not only do these teams meet as two ranked teams in the regular season, but these teams meet in the postseason. These teams meet in Omaha. And it's just good. It's just good for the state of South Carolina, state of South Carolina baseball, and all of college baseball as well. I think it's, you know, widely regarded that this is college baseball's best rivalry, and if there's other schools that believe they have a better rivalry, they're certainly putting us second.
Coach, Cam got the first inning rolling with a bunt and then Purify in the second. How important is it to you that guys 1 through 9 can all get a bunt down?
It's amazing. I mean, that's a, you know, you got Cam is one of the top prospects in the country, and they played a shift on him, and that's a team play right there where he just wanted to get on base for his team and executes a perfect drag bunt. I mean, perfect. He couldn't have rolled it any better. So I thought that was awesome, and that certainly got the scoring going, because that started a 2-out rally, and Pano finds his way on, and Priest knocks them both in. So that inning doesn't happen maybe without that drag bunt. That's the type of drag bunt. Caden Grice did that a couple years ago as well, where you don't expect it from your star player, but when they do it, it's so much more valuable than just a single.
Anything else from Coach? All right, thank you,
Awesome.
Coach.
Coach.
Thanks, guys.
See you tomorrow.